Good evening, everybody. Welcome inside Prairie Arena as the Edina Hornets getting set to take on their conference rival and just across town rival, the Eden Prairie Eagles. The makeup game from Tuesday postponed due to that brutal cold. Patrick Lilia here with you. John Sands also hanging around. He's got a lot of hats to wear this afternoon, so he's going to be kind of floating in and out of the booth, the camera, and who knows where else as this evening goes along. It'll be kind of a tight quarters here at the Prairie Arena tonight, is the regularly scheduled boys game between Wayzata and Edina will take place after this, so a lot of bodies in the house tonight to play some hockey. So this evening will feature the number 2 Hornets and the number 5 Eagles. Edina facing another top 10 test. Starting lineups tonight for the Hornets. For the forwards, it will be Swaim, Davis, and Keel. And on defense, U-line, one of the semifinalists for the Ms. Hockey Award. We'll talk about another one of those when she hits the ice in a little bit. And Jungle's the defensive partner. And Ellie Stripmatter, the stellar goaltender. In net once again for the Hornets this evening for the visiting Eagles. Forward, Sydney Langseth, with Grace Kuipers and Carrie Burns. And the defensive pair, Christina Spanier and Rachel DeCesar. As things getting underway now, to catch things off, the goaltender Molly Gergen for Eden Prairie this evening. His play starts off down in the Edina zone, someone works his way past U-line up onto the far side boards. U-line battling there with Langseth. It's pushed back into the corner as Burns pushes it behind the net. Langseth trying to push it the other direction. It'll work its way back toward the blue line. Eden Prairie able to hold it in. This one deflected just in front of Stripmatter. Jungle's trying to clear and is able to get it out into the neutral zone. Eagles playing it along the near side boards. The battle in front of the penalty box area as it's sent back into the Edina zone. U-line able to push it ahead in front of the bench area as Langseth back to pick it up. As the Eagles will set up in their own zone. Maybe perhaps not, as Edina doing a good job of creating a messy exit situation for the Eagles. The Eagles eventually do come out with the puck. They try to play it ahead. Again, the Edina, though, able to make exiting very difficult in this situation as Jungle's able to send it right back into the Eagle zone. Edina will change as the puck works its way around the net. To pick it up is DeSazer. DeSazer will send it back around to the near side. And it's Annie Keel able to take it away briefly, but then poked away once again. It's a shot that's blocked by Adams. Deflects up into the far side corner. That's Lucy Bowlby colliding with an Eagle player up in that corner. A puck will work its way back around the Eagle net down to the near side. As Adams unable to hold the zone as Eden Prairie able to dump it down into the Edina zone, but that'll go for an icing, and a face-off will come back in the Eden Prairie zone. 15:25 to go in the first period. No score. The make-up affair this afternoon between the Eagles and the Hornets. Game scheduled for Tuesday night. Imagine pretty much everything postponed due to the brutal cold snap that we went through, that things are finally breaking out of this evening and into this weekend. The Eagles able to bring the puck back the other direction through the neutral zone. This one dumped down the other way by Ava Wagner. As Wagner sees the puck sent back the other way, and with the other direction by Kuipers, Claire Kuipers rather. This is looped through the corner. As Chorsky gets knocked off the puck, gets it ahead toward Jane Keel. Keel able to bank it off ahead of Kuipers into the Eden Prairie zone. Kuipers there back to pick it up though, and the Eagles will play it back around the other way. There's a shot from the point that got through to the goaltender Gergen, who made the save. The Eagles end up with the puck in the near side circle. Edina able to take it back in the neutral zone as Sophia Dahl dumps it in deep. It'll work its way back around the Eagle net, where Presley Pergrand has it for Eden Prairie. The Eagles play it back around the other direction. The cross-ice pass into the offensive zone. A good stick work by Langseth, although Langseth eventually runs into too many white and green jerseys, and that's the puck taken away from her. Edina back into the offensive zone. There's a shot that'll go wide. It'll work its way back around to the near side boards. Adams will work it to Keel behind the Eagle net. Keel circling as she's trying to fight her way through as Keel goes down. No penalty assessed in this situation. Langseth into the offensive zone as she tried to get it down to the near side. Pass a little bit behind Grace Kuipers, though. It's Langseth battling along the near side with Adams. As Kuiper will end up with the puck. She'll get it back to the blue line, able to be held in by the Eagles. It's back to Burns. Burns will play it off the end board. It'll come down to the near side corner as Langseth back over to Kuipers. As Kuipers trying to get that one through Keel as it works its way back to the far side. Swain will take the puck into the offensive zone. Swain trying to work her way around Christina Spanier, but couldn't quite do it, and the shot ends up going wide. Back to Grace Kuipers on the near side. Kuipers will play this one through, and it will end up going wide of strip matter for an icing and a face-off back in the Eagle zone. 13:09 to go, first period. No score between the Eagles and the Hornets. You see C.C. Bowlby in the game for the first time. Another one of those semifinalists for the Ms. Hockey Award. The teammates Uline and C.C. Bowlby on the short list for the coveted award for girls hockey in Minnesota. The puck ends up in on Gergen, who holds on, and we'll have another offensive zone face-off for the Hornets. 13:05 to go, first period. Still no score between the Hornets and the Eagles. C.C. Bowlby will take the face-off. It comes down back to Jungles. Jungles the shot through traffic, and Gergen sliding over to make the save. Edina beginning to establish the offensive zone pressure here early on. Now 4 minutes elapsed into the game. Another offensive zone face-off for the Hornets coming here. To the right of Gergen. Still loose in the circle. It's poked behind the Eagle net. Jungle with a shot from the point, save Gergen. Second chance, Bowlby's shot also, I think, might have gotten to the goaltender as well. Uline able to hold it in. Its way back around the net. Jungle's able to slow it down. No poke back out into the neutral zone. We're going to have a penalty coming against Edina. Jungles will get hit with the tripping call. And Eden Prairie will go on the first power play of the game. 12:34 remaining in the first period. Langseth will take the face-off against Annie Keel. Eden Prairie controls the face-off in the offensive zone. Back up to Spanier at the point. Langseth back to Spanier at the blue line. Down to the near side to Caesar. Shot goes wide and will work its way up onto the far side boards. Langseth, though, able to get to it first. An important puck race victory, should say, as Eden Prairie maintaining the offensive possession. Back to Langseth. Back to the blue line. Spanier shot through traffic. That one just goes wide. As Adams able to clear for Edina, it'll work its way all the way back into the Eagle zone for an early clear. 1:22 to go in the Eden Prairie power play. 11:53 in the period. No score. The Eagles back into the offensive zone. He's back around to the near side corner as DeCaesar, joined by Carrie Burns, battling with Uline. And the Eagles able to come out with the puck. The play moves up into that far side corner. Circling the net, thinking about the wraparound, and then trying to get it down low to Kuiper, who's got through. Eagles able to maintain possession, though. A shot through traffic. It's loose in front. They score! As it popped free right in front of Carrie Burns as it got behind Strittmatter on the awkward bounce. That puck didn't need a whole lot more momentum to get into the net. And Carrie Burns with the power play goal puts Eden Prairie up 1-0. Strittmatter just had that puck go awkwardly. I think she might have gotten it with the stick or the glove. And it came loose and pretty much just sat juicily in the blue area for Burns to hammer home. Now coming at 5:41, Carrie Burns on the power play, putting Eden Prairie up 1-0. Edina back with it in their own zone. There's Lily Hendrickson with it. Hendrickson thought about trying to move ahead, but then had to reverse direction with the efforts of Nora Wagner. Well, that pass gets off the stick of Jungles. It works its way down into the corner. Its way behind the Hornet net. The battle along the end boards. We passed 10.5 minutes to go here in the first period. 1-0 Eden Prairie on the goal by Carrie Burns on the power play a moment ago. As Eden Prairie able to come out with the puck. Able to get back out into the neutral zone are the Eagle. There's a long shot from the blue line. That'll go wide. Wagner letting that one go. Hornets pushing it back the other way. Here's Lucy Bowlby into the offensive zone, but she gets knocked off the puck nicely, and that's going to draw a penalty. Maybe a little bit too physical play there. It looked like a nice play at first. But now the Hornets going to get their first power play, looking to answer with a power play goal of their own. It'll be Christina Spanier taking the penalty. If it's a roughing or a checking call, one of those. As Annie Keel will take the face-off for Edina. It'll be an interference, so I was wrong on both of my guesses as to what that call was going to end up being. The Eagles able to get an early clear on the penalty kill. It'll work its way all the way back into the Edina zone, and racing to catch up with it is Grace Kuipers. Hornets able to come out with it, though. Jungles up the near side boards, past the penalty box area into the offensive zone. Jungles circles the net, comes back around to the near side. U-line at the blue line. In center, there's a shot that'll end up going wide. Hornets able to maintain possession. Jungles to U-line. U-line's shot was tipped. It worked its way inward as it's sent back through the neutral zone. As Strittmatter out of the net will deflect it up into the corner. U-line will take it there. U-line pressed a little bit by Becca Niss. At the near side boards is Jungles back into the offensive zone. 55 seconds to go in the Hornet power play. 8:52 in the period. 1-0 Eagles. It's Keel behind the net. It's loose out front. And able to be gloved and held on to on the shot. An offensive zone face-off from the Hornets. 46 seconds to go in the Edina power play. The interference penalty to Spanier. 8:45 in the period. 1-0 Eden Prairie with the lead on the power play goal by Carrie Burns. Edina controls the puck off the face-off. Back to Adams at the blue line. As Jungle's trying to slow that one down, and the shot ends up just going wide. We pass the midpoint of the first period, 8:26 and counting. 25 seconds in the Hornet power play. Hendrickson. Back to Adams. To get it up to Lucy Bolby in the corner. We'll give it back to Adams. The pass deflected, and then whiffing on it as she tried to wind up for the shot was Bolby. Hornets, though, maintain possession. Here's Adams, back to Bolby. Bolby with a shot through traffic. That one will end up going wide as Eden Prairie back at full strength. We're under 8 minutes to go here in this first period of the Edina against Eden Prairie game. Eden Prairie with the 1-0 lead here in the first period on the power play goal by Carrie Burns. Edina controlling in the neutral zone. Lucy Bolby back up the near side boards in front of the penalty box area. Trying to play it behind her net is Spanier just out of the penalty box for Eden Prairie. It's back up in the corner. Maxwell at the blue line. Maxwell will try to slide this one through several different players. It'll work its way to the end wall. And being poked back to the end boards. 7:15 to go, first period. As the Hornets rather tried to work their way into the middle, but the Eagles able to clean that one out. And Swain taking the long pass. She'll bank a shot off the end board. It'll work its way back up onto the far side boards as Maxwell able to hold it in, trying to get it down low, but it kicks away, and the Eagles bring it back through the neutral zone. Working her way is Becca Niss as she loses the puck, and Annie Keel has it behind the net. She'll bank it off those far side boards once again as it works its way in front of the bench area. Penalty coming against Edina. One of the Eagle players took a hard hit, and Annie Keel will head to the penalty box. Eden Prairie will get their second power play here for the first period, and already 1-for-1. And that power play goal by Carrie Burns giving the Eagles a 1-0 lead early on in this first period. As Eden Prairie controls the face-off. The shot through traffic that deflects just wide of Strittmatter. That was DeCesar who took that shot. Ends up in the corner. With Langseth battling. Langseth comes out with the puck behind the net, looking to set up. Langseth will take it back. Langseth gets it back to the blue line. There's a shot deflecting in front. Traffic in front of Strittmatter. As Jungle's able to clear it out, and the awkward bounce, and look out, here comes Jungles into the offensive zone, short-handed. There's a shot snagged with the glove by Gergen, who will have an offensive zone face-off for Edina. So just a couple of bad bounces for Eden Prairie, resulting in Gergen having to make the short-handed save. First it was the clear attempt that just topped over the Eagle defensive player's stick, and then Jungle's able to catch up to the loose puck and get a good offensive opportunity shorthanded. Eden Prairie controls the defensive zone face-off. Pergran sends it around to the near side. Through the neutral zone is Niss. Niss trying to work her way around Jungle. She'll circle the net. Knocked off the puck by Uline. It's Niss trying to poke this one ahead as sent back into the neutral zone by C.C. Bolby. Back into the Edina zone as the Eagles able to send it back toward the neutral zone. Now dumped into the Hornets end as it played behind the Hornet net. As Jungle's able to clear it once again all the way down into the Eagle zone. It'll work its way back up the far side boards. Front of the Eagle bench. As Bolby at the blue line able to Send it back into the Eagle zone. And coming in offside here are the Eagles as they trying to work their way through that tenacious blue line defense. And 11 neutral zone face-off with 5:02 to go in the first period. 1-0 Eagles with the lead on the power play goal by Carrie Burns. Face-off controlled once again by Eden Prairie, who have won most of the face-offs here in the first period. Burns on the near side. Bring it back from Langseth. To Sazer. Sazer with a shot that'll go high over the net. And will work its way back around to the far side. Langseth. Back to Spanier. There's a shot through the blue. And the turnaround by Burns. It ends up in the corner as it came free on the glove side of Strittmatter, and Burns almost had her second goal of the period. As Keel out of the box, Edina back at full strength. Into the offensive zone are the Hornets. Keel trying to go to the backhand. It's loose in front of Gergen, who's able to make the save on her stomach. Edina trying to get those offensive juices flowing. Had a little bit of trouble solving Molly Gergen here in this first period. 4:14 to go in the first frame. 1-0 Eden Prairie with the lead. With both teams back at full strength now. Puck down in that near side corner as it works its way back to the Eagles into the offensive zone. 2-on-1. There's a shot saved by Strittmatter as the 2-on-1 developed. Nora Wagner ended up taking the shot. A beautiful setup, but now Strittmatter able to make the nice save. Offensive zone face-off for the Eagles coming. 3:59 to go in the period. 1-0 Eden Prairie. Face-off still loose in the circle, now controlled by the Eagles once again. The shot through traffic was blocked. It was Burns who let the shot go. Eagles able to hold possession. When sent through traffic, it was knocked down in front of Strittmatter. If Jane Keel has it, she tries to push this one ahead. It's out of the reach of Lily Hendrickson, or Gwen Hendrickson rather. As Maxwell into the offensive zone for Edina. She'll just play it down to the end boards. Up on the near side boards now and moves back into the corner. 3:25 to go in the period. The puck ends up out of play. We have another face-off. 3:19 to go in the first period. 1-0 Eden Prairie. Power play goal by Carrie Burns early on. Both teams have since had a power play since then, neither converted on the subsequent power play attempts. It's loose in front of the, or behind the Eagle net rather. It's back around to the near side. We at the 14-minute mark here of the first period. Jungle's able to hold it at the blue line, trying to play it through. CC Bowlby's shot is blocked. It'll end up behind the net. Its way back up into the corner. Eagles come out with it. The speed through the neutral zone and dumping this one down in is Kuipers. As Kuipers gets tied up on the end boards. Edina able to come out with it with Uline. Uline with a nice stick to get around Langseth. She'll get it up ahead to Tella Jungles. Jungles into the offensive zone, circling, trying to get it to CC Bowlby, but Eden Prairie able to disrupt that. 2:25 to go here in the first period. Play continuing on the end boards, now poked down to the corner. Davis with a shot blocked. Davis trying to fight her way through. And Eden Prairie eventually able to come out with the puck. They get it into the neutral zone where Jungles has it for Edina. And we're going to have a stoppage of play here with 2:07 to go here in the first period. Edina will go shorthanded for the third time in this first period. And it'll be Tella Jungles taking the penalty. With Eden Prairie already 1 for 2 on the power play here in this opening frame. Got that power play goal by Carrie Burns at the lone tally in the game thus far for either team. As the aforementioned Burns ties up Uline. As DeSazer comes out with the puck, gets it up to the far side, Langseth. Spanier. DeSazer. It's a good job by Annie Keel to poke that one into the neutral zone, and Eden Prairie will have to reset. The Spanier. And back up to Langseth. Langseth into the offensive zone. And she'll pull up. She gets tied up by Vivian Jungles up in the corner. Trying to get it out of there is Grace Kuipers. And Kuipers will eventually come out with the puck. A shot by Spanier that's blocked. Langseth will end up back with the puck. Spanier. Spanier will take the puck back from DeSazer on the give and go, and a nice job to reach in there by Keel, but Eden Prairie able to maintain the offensive zone. Comes back around to Kuipers on the near side. We're under a minute to go here in the first period. 51 seconds in the power play. Oh my goodness, as the puck took a wild ricochet up into the roofing here at Braemar Arena, and if that netting wasn't here, perhaps it could have come our way. A little souvenir for John Sands and I, perhaps, if that netting wasn't there. And we don't see pucks bounce like that very often. Offensive zone face-off for Eden Prairie. Becca Nist will take the face-off for the Eagles. And CC Bowlby controlled by Edina. As Hendrickson pushed back into the corner. Now CC Bowlby able to take it away. Bowlby with Swain. Swain with a shorthanded shot. Save once again by Gergen as it comes back around to the neutral zone. As Hendrickson able to dump it back in deep. 26 seconds to go in the Eagle power play. 30 seconds to go in the period itself. The Eagles setting up for one last rush, perhaps on the power play. Setting up is Wagner. Wagner will bank it off the end boards as Hendrickson will take it there. And Hendrickson will flip it all the way through the neutral zone. That'll do it for the Eagle power play. 11 seconds to go in the period. The Eagles get it back out into the neutral zone with under 5 seconds to go in the frame. That'll bring us to the end of the first period here at Braemar Arena. And the story of the game perhaps thus far is Edina took 3 penalties in that first period, and the Eagles cashed in on one of those. As Carrie Burns with the power play goal early on in the first period. That puts the Eagles up 1-0, and that's where we'll go to the first intermission here at Braemar Arena. You're watching Edina girls hockey coverage on mnhockey.tv. Again, at the first intermission, Eden Prairie leading at 1-0 on a power play goal by Carrie Burns. We'll take a break and come back with the puck drop of the second period in a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome back inside Braemar Arena. The second period about to get underway. 1-0 Eden Prairie with the lead on a power play goal by Carrie Burns. Edina took 3 penalties in that first period. I think something that was addressed during the first period intermission. And the stellar goaltending of Molly Gorgon also a big factor in that first period. 10 saves and 10 shot attempts. Well, for Strittmatter, 3 saves and 4 chances. The play moves back down into the Edina zone as we're underway here in the second period. 16:48 and counting to go. As Strittmatter down, it's loose next to her as it's swept down to the near side. Annie Keel with it. Keel gets it up to the far side boards. Loose in the corner. Eagles able to hold the offensive zone. As Langziff dumps it down around the Edina net. It'll come back around to the near side. As Langziff almost able to take that one away. It'll end up on the stick of Kuipers. Kuipers' shot is blocked. It ends up in the corner. Langziff all over the ice right now as she'll end up with the puck back. She'll come out of the corner with it. She'll reverse and send it down to Kuipers. Kuipers battling with Jungles as it banks off the end boards. The Eagles just looking like they have a little more hustle at this point. There's a shot that's blocked off the stick of DeCesar. Back into the neutral zone now it goes, and now down into the Eagle zone. It'll work its way around the Eagle net. Eagles looking to set up, break out of their zone as that pass finds its way through a player on each side as it works its way down into the zone. Macy Townsend ends up driving it down into the Eagle offensive zone. It'll work its way around into the corner. We're going to the far side boards. Shot from the point. It sneaks its way back out toward the blue line, able to be held in at the point by Eden Prairie. Like Claire Kuipers. Works its way back through the corner. We're back out into the neutral zone come the Hornets, and it'll come down to the near side. Is there to pick it up is Kuipers. Kuipers will set up behind her own net, or near beside her own net, and now she'll have to play it back the other way. As it goes off the stick of Ava Wagner, and it comes loose out front, and they tried to get it to Bowlby down low, but it was intercepted by the Eagles. As Danny Benson brings it through the neutral zone, back into the Hornet zone, and end up with Strittmatter making a save there. There's a little bit of a collective gasp from the crowd following that. 14:39 to go in the second period, 1-0. Favor of the Eden Prairie Eagles, a power play goal by Carrie Burns. An offensive zone face-off for the Eagles. Langziff will take the face-off. It's Jane Keel. The officials getting one of the extra pucks off the ice. The face-off driven deeper into the Edina zone along the end boards. The Eagles come out with it. Langziff making her presence known very strongly here in this game with a lot of good effort. Plays as they try to set it up in front. The Eagles, though, maintaining the offensive zone again as it works its way behind the net. Strittmatter is down trying to find it with her glove, and she's finally able to. So Eden Prairie coming out here in the second period with a little more offensive juice than they had in that first period. They did have the 1-0 lead, but other than that power play goal, not a whole lot more. Edina peppered away at Gergen early on, but have not been able to find the back of the net yet. Got the face-off. Works its way back behind the Edina net. Once again, it comes out to the point as Spanier pushes it down into the corner. Way back along the end boards. Langziff trying to fight her way through a couple of Edina players, is jamming away at it in front of Strittmatter and then having it poked away. As here come the Hornets back the other direction. Back out into the neutral zone. With Chorsky trying to get it down low, but the pass just out of reach. It's DeCesar. Trying to clear, but it's taken away here. Chorsky to the backhand, and it's blocked. But Davis able to maintain possession for Edina. The shot from the blue line knocked down. Spanier able to gain possession for Eden Prairie. Getting it up ahead for Burns. Burns drives her way down into the corner where Uline heads her off. And Strip Matter getting down low, trying to prevent that puck from being poked in her direction. 13-11 to go here in the second period. It's 1-0 Eden Prairie on the power play goal by Burns in that first period. One of 3 power plays that the Eagles had in that first frame. And Spanier intercepts it at the Eagle blue line. She'll end up chipping it in on Strip Matter, who'll have to hold on to it with the glove. An offensive zone face-off for the Eagles coming. 12:54 to go in the second period. They lead it 1-0. This Mist will take the face-off. It's controlled by Edina. Pushed up along the far side boards in front of the Eagle bench. And pushed in offside, so we'll have a neutral zone face-off coming once again. 12:46 to go in the middle frame. 1-0, Eden Prairie with the lead. This Mist will take the face-off once again against C.C. Bowlby. It's controlled by Eden Prairie. As Bowlby knocks that puck away from Claire Kuipers and pushes it down into the Eagle zone. This Bowlby looking to fight her way through. She'll get it back to Dahl at the point. It works its way through everybody as Dahl tries to get it down low. Bowlby, though, gets it back to Dahl. It was Maxwell whose shot is blocked. It's back the other way by Wagner into the neutral. Rather held in by Edina, and there's a shot that ricochets awkwardly back toward the goaltender Gergen, who dives on it and holds on. A great job by the Hornets to hold that zone. It looked like it was ticketed for the other end of the ice. Hornets were able to hold it in and end up with a decent chance out of it. It was played behind the net, and the centering feed intercepted by Eden Prairie. That was Jungles who tried to center it. Even if it had gotten through, there weren't really any Edina players waiting there to get a good shot away. The Eagles able to clear it through the neutral zone. And will end up going wide if Strip Matter will end up with an icing call and a face-off back in the Edina offensive zone. 11:59 to go in the second period. 1-0 Eagles. The face-off works its way into the middle and swept out into the neutral zone by DeCesar. Back to pick it up in her own zone is Hendrickson. Hendrickson pushing it back into the neutral zone, but Langseth has it for Eden Prairie. She'll play it back into the Edina zone. It'll work its way down into the near side corner. And the battle continues down there. Hendrickson, one of those involved in that scrum. As the Langseth fighting through Hendrickson, it ends up on Annie Keel's stick as Keel will play it around to the far side. The Eagles able to take it away in their offensive zone, as diving on that one is Strip Matter. We'll have a face-off, 11:21 to go here in the second period. 1-0, Eagles leading. As Benson will take the face-off for Eden Prairie against Jane Keel. Face-off still loose in the circle, now controlled by Edina. As we're trying to work our way into the offensive zone, but a great job of cutting that play off. Swain trying to gain the offensive zone, but was headed off nicely at the blue line by Presley Pergand. As the Eagles possess the puck behind their own net, bringing it back around to the near side corner. Now playing it back up to the far side corner. Now trying to bank this one up ahead toward Gretchen Bauer as it works its way back into the Eagle zone. Back to pick it up there is Pergand. Pergand plays it around to the near side. That one's out of the reach of Wagner. Wagner, though, will end up with the puck as it's slowed down. Wagner dumps it down into the Edina zone. We'll go for an icing, and we'll have a face-off back in the Eagle zone. 10:41 to go in the second period. The Eagles leading at 1-0 on the early power play goal by Carrie Burns. Edina doing a much better job of staying out of the penalty box thus far here in the second period after they took 3 trips to the sin bin in that first frame. course, one of those was when Eden Prairie cashed in and maintains that 1-0 lead thus far. Sent back into the Eden Prairie zone. The battle along the end boards as Langseth comes out with it. She'll try to play it up ahead for Kuipers. Kuipers will try to get it ahead to Burns. Kuipers ends up with it back. She tries to battle her way along the end boards. Player without a stick, though able to quickly recover it. Now circling the net, comes loose to Burns, whose shot just ends up saved. His way back up into the corner. Now around the net. It's loose in front of Strittmatter, hammering away at it with Langseth, but we'll have a little bit of a pushing and shoving after the whistle. I say certainly when you go a little bit too hard at the goaltender, that's likely the outcome that follows. As Edina feeling that perhaps the Eagles going a little bit too hard at Strittmatter, and coincidental minor is going to come out of that. C.C. Bowlby will be one of those penalized for Edina. It will remain 5-on-5 with the coincidental minors. Didn't quite catch the Eden Prairie player who headed to the penalty box, but I'm sure we'll get that announcement here momentarily. 9:59 to go here in the second period. Eden Prairie with the 1-0 lead. Off the face-off, it works its way back around to the near side. Edina works their way into the offensive zone. A nice job of poking that one off of Keel's stick by Spanier. As Davis circles. Go back to Uline for a shot at the point. That's blocked out front, trying to get it down to Chorsky. Chorsky, though, able to take the puck away. Chorsky with some nice stick work briefly, but Spanier able to poke it away. And now eventually sent back into the neutral zone. As Vivian Jungles trying to set up there for the Hornets. She tries to work her way through. Gets it up ahead toward Davis, but Davis couldn't quite corral the puck as it's pushed up into the corner. Working her way around. It's Chorsky who tried to go to the nice stick work once again, but then lost control of the puck. Chorsky ends up with it back in the near side corner. Uline winding up for a shot. Delayed penalty coming against Eden Prairie. Chorsky going to get it into the middle. Backhander poked at it by Maxwell as Eden Prairie touches up. Edina will go on the power play here. Going to be two penalties coming against Eden Prairie on that same play. It'll be Macy Townsend and Rachel DeSazer taking penalties. It'll be a 5-on-3 perhaps for the Hornets coming out of that. There'll be a full penalty box now with the... It'll be a full 2-minute 5-on-3 for the Hornets. Some kind of discussion occurring. We get the announcement about the penalties. It'll be DeSazer for a slash. There's Townsend for hooking. So a golden opportunity for the Hornets here. They'll have a full 2-minute 5-on-3 situation. As Keel will take the face off for Edina. Against Langseth for Eden Prairie. Face off still loose in the circle. Hornets come out with it. Jungles. Back to Uline. Get it down low toward Keel. It deflects down into the far side board. Jungles maintaining possession. Uline back to Jungles. Getting it down low. There's a shot save with the glove. As Keel all alone in the middle, denied once again by Gergen. Well, even though they didn't score there, if those are the kind of chances you're going to be getting for the next minute 43, Edina's got to be feeling pretty good about this situation here. Minute 43 to go in the 5-on-3 as the face-off unable to be controlled by Jungles and unable to hold the zone. Edina resets. 1:34 to go in the 5-on-3 and streaking back into the neutral zone as we're just past the midpoint of the game. 8:22 to go in the second period. Edina 5-on-3 for a full 2 minutes. There's a shot that just deflected wide as Keel couldn't quite get a stick on it. 1:15 to go in the 5-on-3. Jungles. As Langseth got in the middle, there's a shot. That one just goes through the blue down to the near side corner. Uline trying to get it hard pass to Davis. Backhand save. Second chance sent wide. It works its way back up to the far side boards, and Burns comes away with it for Eden Prairie. Now with that puck taken away from her. And into the offensive zone as Jungles try to drive toward the net. Gergen again the save. Gergen dives on the second chance. Really nothing more you can say about that, but wow, is Molly Gergen with a brilliant effort preserving the 1-0 lead. Still 43 seconds to go in the 5-on-3 for Edina. 7:37 to go in the period. We've seen pretty much every possible thing that Edina can throw at Molly Gergen just in the last 30 to 45 seconds, and so far she stopped all of it. Neutral zone faceoff controlled by Eden Prairie and then sent right up into the bench by Pergan. It'll have another face-off deep in the Eden Prairie zone. 41 seconds to go in the 5-on-3. Langseth will take the face-off against Keel. Got the face-off controlled by Edina. Getting her way in with a shot saved by Pergan. It was C.C. Bolby who let that one go. Gergen again with the save. Langseth will take the face-off against Keel. Spanier battling down in the corner. Keel swoops in to try to take the puck away. Back out to Uline. Jungles. Jungles with a shot saved by Gergen. This play again getting a little bit physical after the whistle. Of course, we've got two teams here who know each other very well. A top 5 battle. The teams know each other well. A little bit of extracurricular play, and Edina going to take a penalty here. Going to be another set of coincidental minors as Langseth will head to the box as well, and that's going to be a really big loss for Eden Prairie, trying to kill off the rest of this 5-on-3. Still 21 seconds to go. Stella Jungles takes the other half of the coincidental minor. With Langseth out of the game for the moment, that 21 seconds of 5-on-3, that's going to feel like an eternity for the Eagles. Packed penalty boxes for both teams now as off the face-off cleared back through the neutral zone as Vivian Jungles there to track it down for the Hornets. 13 seconds to go in the 5-on-3. 7:05 to go in the period. 1-0 Eden Prairie with the lead. One last rush for the Hornets into the offensive zone as Davis sets up. Davis gets back to C.C. Bolby. Eden Prairie back at full strength as trying to knock down that high pass was Davis. Davis battling as it comes back around to the near side corner. As DeSazer out of the box and that centering feed knocked down by Nis. As Bolby had the puck taken away from her. Nis trying to clear but can't do it as it comes back and unable to knock that one down with Davis. It comes back around to the near side corner. As Keel comes out with it in the circle. Keel getting it back up to Adams up top. As it gets past Spanier, but then Karams back to Spanier, and there's a long clear attempt that'll end up in icing and a face-off deep in the Eden Prairie zone. 6:13 to go here in the second period, and now we had a moment to catch our breath. That 5-on-3 that the Eagles able to kill off. And the shining star of that sequence, Molly Gergen, the goaltender, as Edina with just chance after chance taking all kinds of shots that a lot of goaltenders would have a lot of trouble keeping out of the net, but Gergen able to kill off that 5-on-3 as it comes loose in front of the Eden Prairie net. Getting it up toward Burns, who's sent back into the Eden Prairie zone. Way behind the Eagle net. As Jane Keel comes out with it. It's back to the point. Roberts couldn't get anything on the shot. There's a stick down. The Eagles come back out with it. We'll play it back behind the net down into the corner. There's Benson trying to send it back the other direction. Got it up to Burns. Kuiper's able to send it into the Edina zone where Maxwell will try to play it behind the Edina net, sending it back down to the near side. 5:20 to go in the period. Eden Prairie maintaining that 1-0 lead. As Dahl tried to drive her way in, but had Eden Prairie players in front of her and behind her whacking at the puck, and they were able to get it away from her. It comes back up into the near side corner, the far side corner rather, as the Eagles able to clear. It will go for another icing call. Face off back in the Eden Prairie zone once again. Exactly 5 minutes to go here in the second period. 1-0, Eagles leading. First period power play goal by Carrie Burns. Langseth back in the game following the coincidental minus. Will take the face-off against Keel. Works his way in the middle. It'll get up ahead for Burns. Burns, though, with this puck poked away from her by Adams. Adams trying to send it back the other direction. And Burns will end up with it, but Chorsky able to take it away. Chorsky backhands it through the neutral zone as it works its way back into the Eden Prairie defensive zone. The Spanier battling. And loose behind the Eden Prairie net is working her way around is Chorsky. She'll try to play it around with the Eagle there to intercept it as Langseth plays it up ahead for Burns. Burns will play this one into the Edina zone as she works her way around Hendrickson, and she'll end up with a shot that'll go wide. 4:17 to go here in the second period. 1-0, Eden Prairie with the lead. He's back around to the near side, able to be held in by the Eagles. About to hit the 13-minute mark here of the second period. We have a delayed penalty coming here against Edina. It's the goaltender Gergen off for the extra attacker. Getting it back to the point. Trying to get it down low for Kuipers. It's loose out front and whacking away at Strittmatter is able to make the save. So Edina will go shorthanded here. For shorthanded 3 times in the first period. With Eden Prairie able to cash in on the first one. 1 for 3 overall. Annie Keel taking the penalty for the Hornets. It'll be an elbowing penalty against Keel, so Eden Prairie back to the power play. 3.5 minutes to go here in the second period. Spanier surveying as Langseth with a shot. It's loose in front of Strittmatter. It ends up working its way back behind the net as several players went to the ice. 3:10 to go here in the second period, rather. 1:30 to go on the Eagle power plays. Spanier thought about winding up, and we'll have a stoppage of play here as the net came loose. Offensive zone face-off for the Eagles coming. Got the face-off controlled by the Eagles. Once again in the offensive zone to Cesar. Surveying, gets it down low into the corner. Play around to the net to the near side. As Langseth ends up with the puck. Langseth back to Spanier. And for a shot through traffic, they score! DeCesar took the initial shot. We'll see if she was the one who got it through Strittmatter. It's another power play goal for the Eagles. They are 2 for 4 with the extra attacker in the game, and they lead it 2-0 with 2:41 to go here in the second period. So Edina going to have some work to do and some, of course, questioning what do we have to do to get a puck past Molly Gergen, especially with the way that 5-on-3 went earlier in this period. Edina controls it in their own zone. Play it up to the far side boards. They'll give it to Grace Kuipers on the deflection. It's driven right back into the Edina zone, and Strittmatter forced to make another save. Having at 14-19 of the second period, and perhaps Eden Prairie there thinking about a little more insurance. They might be more aware than just about anybody else, having seen these Hornets so many times over the years, that no goals of insurance are too much against a team like Edina, the number 2 team in the state. Eden Prairie, the number 5, the underdog Eagles looking for the big upset this afternoon, and they lead it 2-0 with 2:11 to go in the second period. DeCesar took that initial shot. Grace Kuipers given credit for the tip in on the other end. Eden Prairie with 2 power play goals. They got the first period power play goal from Carrie Burns. And they'll get one here in the second period from Grace Kuipers. Driving in and then not quite able to get the shot attempt was DeCesar. We're going to have a penalty coming here once again against Eden Prairie. It'll be DeCesar who takes the trip to the box this time, and another power play for Edina coming up. That full 2-minute 5-on-3 earlier in this period, and had so many good looks at Molly Gergen and just could not get it past her. We'll see how this power play unfolds as well. 1:47 to go in the period, so when the Hornets not score in the next minute 50, they'll have about 10 seconds of power play time carrying over into the third. Back to the blue line. Jungles in the circle, backing her way out. Reversing direction away from Langseth. Davis with a shot that's saved by Gergen. As Keel gets pushed into the net after the play, and she has a little bit of a extra shove to give to Grace Kuipers after that. So things getting chippier and chippier as this game has moved along, as crowd upset that no penalties are going to be assessed out of that. It looks like the officials are going to be a little bit willing to let them push and shove a bit. I've seen some of those coincidental minors, but I guess officials are going to let them get away with a little bit of it. As Edina controls the face-off, lining up for a blast from the blue line. Davis sent a shot wide as it trickled her way around to the stick side of Gergen. Bowlby comes out with trying to get it to Davis, but Langseth able to intercept it. Play it along the end board. It'll work its way through the corner. Under a minute to go here in the period. Jungles loses control of the puck, and the Eagles able to clear. Burns chases it down. Head of Uline. Uline looking to reverse direction. Uline trying to battle her way through Kuipers. Kuipers with a good job to hold the Eagles' offensive zone. Edina looking to break out here. 35 seconds to go in the period. It's Lucy Bowlby. Rather, Jungles, my apologies. Vivian Jungles reversing. Looking her way to the blue line, trying to get it down low. Couldn't get a whole lot on that, and the Eagles able to clear it the length of the ice. 15 seconds to go in the period. Back at neutral ice. One last rush for the Hornets. There's a shot save. Gergen loose in front. Swept up to the far side boards, and that'll take us to the end of the period. As Edina had that full 5-on-3. which featured the brilliant play by Gergen to maintain what was then a 1-0 lead. And then the power play goal by Grace Kuipers extends the lead to 2-0 as we bring in John Sands. Mr. Sands, how do you think this game has gone so far?
I think you look at it, it's been a little lopsided here in favor of Edina Prairie. You look at the score column, but you gotta remember the difference right now is that Edina's been here before. Even in the state tournament, they've been down. They've won. They've come back from down before. The one thing that Edina's got to do is they got to stay out of the penalty box. It's the one thing that Edina can't do, and they're doing right now is they're letting EP get on the power play.
Absolutely, is 4 power plays in the game for the Eagles, and they have converted on 2 of those. So what do you think going into the final period? It seems that the problem for Edina hasn't been getting offensive chances. They haven't been able to get one in the net. How are they going to do that?
I think the thing that they're doing is they're settling for a shot. They're not looking. There's plenty of times where you see it, and a lot of high school girls teams are notorious for it. They're leaving the back door open, but they're settling early, and it's setting up Gorgon for easy saves. When if you try to move it around a little bit, you go one side quickly to the other side, the back door's open every time, and Edina just settling for the shots from way out or right next to the goalie, and you can't score if it goes into the goalie's chest.
Absolutely. So, have any other thoughts that have crossed your mind thus far in the game so far? Again, 2-0 Eden Prairie here at the second intermission. Along with John Sands, I'm Patrick Lilia, having a little conversation about what we've witnessed thus far this afternoon.
All right. I mean, the big thing right now, and the big difference, this is the really big difference right now, is you got Jamie Grossman on that side, who I don't remember. I know he's come in third a couple times. He's been to the state tournament quite a bit with that Eden Prairie program. But you got Sammy Grieber on the Edina side going in, 2 state championship banners hanging up and trying to get her team fired up. I think you're going to see who has kind of that more motivational speech tactic right now. And in that aspect, I tend to lean towards Sammy only because she's been there in the state tournament before.
So perhaps to maybe get a little bit more controversial, we have seen a little bit more physical play after the whistle, and it seemed like, I think the Edina players seem to be getting a little frustrated with the way that it seems the officials seem to be willing to let them play a little bit after the whistle. We have seen a little, some coincidental minors, but a lot of times they just kind of play on. So how do you not let that get under your skin when that's not being called the way that maybe you think it should, or perhaps it should? I'm not quite sure what the rules are on that, but the officials seem to be kind of willing to just let them push and shove a little bit after the play tonight.
The big thing you got to do, and Sammy has got to preach this to her team, is don't be the retaliatory player. The ref is going to catch the retaliatory player every time. So if it happens, you just let them keep pushing and shoving after the whistle. They're going to call it on them eventually, but as soon as you start retaliating is when you're going to get called. So you kind of just walk away, skate away from it, and don't get caught up in it. Don't let it affect you. And Eden Prairie's teams have always been a lot more physical than most girls' teams, and that just comes from their youth program on up. They're one of the harder working, more physical playing styles in the state.
So we'll go to the second intermission here at Braemar Arena. And thank you, Mr. Sands, for joining me for this conversation here in the second intermission as we go to we have about 8 minutes to go before the third period puck drop. Eden Prairie leading at 2-0. 2 power play goals for the Eagles thus far in the game. Edina's got some work to do. We're going to take a break and come back for the third period puck drop. Stay tuned.
He's finally letting us work together this week.
Yeah, how about that?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back inside Prairie Arena here for the third period. Patrick Lilia along with you. As Mr. John Sands had to step out following that second period. A little bit of equipment. Musical chairs coming up for our second game following this one when the Edina boys will take on Wayzata. The Edina power play comes to an end at about 10 seconds of that to start this period. Play down in the Eden Prairie zone as Keel trying to send it back the other direction. It's around to the near side. Eagles looking to break out through the neutral zone. Here's Langseth. Langseth as he gets knocked off the puck by Uline. Langseth able to maintain possession. The centering feed sneaks through as Burns, who has one of the two Eden Prairie goals, plays it back to the corner. Down to the end boards, Grace Kuipers, who has the other Eden Prairie goal. It's Kuipers. Banks it past Uline. Langseth can't keep it away from Keel as Keel plays it around Burns. Keel into the neutral zone. Great job by Annie Keel to make all of that happen. Keel with a shot saved by... They score! I think the puck, there might have been some question about, as the Eagles players claimed it was frozen. And Edina right back in this thing as they score 1 minute and 5 seconds into the third period. And also, with all due respect to the historic Braemar Arena, a little tough to tell because the press box is located at a very high angle from that far end of the ice. We're sitting in one of the corners of that oval. Vivian Jungles gets credit for that goal. Annie Keel getting the sole assist on that. Edina comes right out here in the third period into the offense. There's a shot saved by Strittmatter as Townsend on the drive, and the defender in front of her had fallen down as Strittmatter having to make the save on the uncharging Townsend. Along the end boards. That one, Banks Avatorski gets a shot turnaround that Strittmatter forced to make the save once again. Offensive zone face-off for the Eagles. Yes, Danny Benson will take it against Jane Keel. Edina drives it back down deeper into their own zone. Their way around the net is Adams. Adams getting it up ahead for Swain, who will push it up ahead toward Kylie Roberts. Roberts pushes it toward the net as Gergen pulls it up with the glove, and we'll have a face-off in the Edina offensive zone. 15:05 to go in regulation. 2-1, Eden Prairie with the lead. Pushed back down into the near side corner. Works its way around to the far side. Now swept back toward the neutral zone, where Kuipers tried to knock it down as it's driven back into the Eden Prairie zone. Ended up toward Kuipers once again. A long cross-ice pass will get the puck into the neutral zone. Langseth fighting her way into the Edina zone, but is taken away immediately by the Hornets and back the other way. As Lucy Bowlby got tied up at the blue line, Edina able to drive it back into the Eagle zone. So Eagles send it back out. Now Lucy Bowlby sending it back in. 14:22 to go in regulation. 2-1, Eden Prairie with the lead. As Vivian Jungles plays it around. Its way behind the Eagle net. We're back up in the corner. Comes back to Kuipers. Kuipers drives it down in deep, and the Eagles will change. Benson has the puck poked away from her. Tella Jungles brings it up the near side boards. Back down in the near side corner. 13:40 to go in regulation. Sent back down to the near side boards. 13:28 now and counting as Jungle's able to hold the zone with a long shot on Gergen, who will force an offensive zone face-off for the Eagles. 13:24 to go in regulation. We'll bring the face-off back out into the neutral zone. Jungle's trying to play it back the other way. It's deflected at the red line as Jane Keel able to send it into the Eden Prairie zone. He's battling as Keel along the near side boards. It works its way to the end wall. Jane Keel able to hold the zone. Now the Eagles able to send it back the other way. Keel trying to catch up to it, but Townsend will get to it first, and it'll be sent up into the netting, and we'll have a face-off with 12:52 to go in regulation. 2-1, Eden Prairie with the lead. Offensive zone face-off for the Eagles. Without the face-off, it's driven up into the far side corner. Eagles maintaining possession. They'll bank it off the near side boards. Comes back around to the corner. As Hendrickson able to poke that one away from Kuipers. They'll poke it into the neutral zone ahead of Lucy Bolby. 12.5 minutes to go in regulation. 2-1, Eden Prairie with the lead as it moves back into the Eagle zone. Hendrickson battling with Langseth. It works its way back around the Eagle net. We'll chip back into the neutral zone by Kuipers, where Lucy Bolby regains possession for Edina. As Claire Kuipers circles the net. Kuipers headed off. It's trying to bring it up the far side boards toward the bench area. Under 12 minutes to go in regulation as Eagles able to chip this one down into the Edina zone. Kuipers gets there ahead of Roberts. Now it's Niss battling down there as well for Eden Prairie as Niss able to knock that puck away from Annie Keel. As Keel recovers and it's able to be pushed back into the neutral zone for Kuipers. They get to Bryn McDonald on the near side. Edina looking to break out back toward the neutral zone. Jungles gains the offensive zone as she's tripped up entering the offensive zone. And Gergen will end up gloving the puck. 11:17 to go in regulation. It's a 2-1 lead for Eden Prairie. Power play goal in the first period for Carrie Burns and a power play goal in the second period by Grace Kuipers that made it 2-0. And Jungles with a goal here in the third period to make it a 2-1 deficit. Puck moves down to the near side boards. We're about to go under the 6-minute mark of the, as we should say, past the 6-minute mark. Under 11 minutes to play. As Hannah Chorsky with speed trying to set up Bolby on the back door, but Bolby couldn't control the hard pass. The Eagles possess it behind their own net, getting it back around to the near side. They work their way in front of the penalty box area as Dahl able to take it away. She'll send it back the other way. Chorsky trying to get to it ahead of DeCesar. The Eagles chip this one into the neutral zone. Uline with it. As Uline's pass toward Jungles was deflected. Uline will end up with it back. Here's Jungles with it now. Getting it into the neutral zone towards Swain. Swain, though, got tied up by Spanier. Works its way in front as Gergen able to dive on it. It's one of those unexpected little moves that the puck makes during the game, and Gergen, though, able to get the glove on it. Offensive zone face-off coming for Edina. 10:06 to go in regulation. It's 2-1 in favor of the Eden Prairie Eagles. The face-off controlled by Edina, pushed up into the corner. As Keel trying to work her way into the middle. It's a shot from the point by Uline. And might have gotten through to Gergen, but regardless, it ends up on the far side boards. Jungles in the neutral zone, banks it off in front of the penalty box area. The Eagles at the blue line, able to keep it out of their zone. It's Keel in front of the Eden Prairie bench, into the offensive zone. He's trying to work her way around Langseth. She'll circle the net, bring it back around to the circle, take a shot into traffic that's blocked. The Eagles sweep it down to the near side boards. 9:23 to go in the final period. 2-1, Eden Prairie with the lead. Eden Prairie 2 for 4 on power play opportunities. As Burns able to send this one into the Eden Prairie offensive zone. It'll work its way through the corner. There's Lucy Bolby in the near side circle with it. Bolby trying to push this one up ahead. Met at the defensive blue line, though, as here's Vivian Jungles who will work her way through the neutral zone. She'll gain the blue line. Jungles tried to go at the pad side of Gergen, but Gergen able to cover it up, and we'll have a face-off with 8:44 remaining in regulation. 2-1, Eden Prairie with the lead. CC Bolby will take the face-off for Edina. Without the face-off, it's pushed down to Spanier. Spanier has the puck taken away from her by Bolby. Loose in the corner, trying to drive behind the net. The puck eventually ends up in that far side corner. Eagles able to get it back out into the neutral zone, but Edina possessing it now. Hendrickson gets it down to Adams. Adams trying to get it up ahead, and is eventually sent back by Eden Prairie. Adams back with it. Adams sent it through the neutral zone. Over to Cesar, sent it back the other way. Eight minutes to go in regulation as we pass the 9-minute mark rather here of the final period. The Eagles able to clear it out, and we'll see how far it'll go, and it will go for an icing. So a face-off back in the Edina offensive zone. 7:47, my apologies, to go in regulation. Eden Prairie leading at 2-1 here in the third period. Power play goals in the first and second period for the Eagles. The Hornets finally able to get on the board here in the third, but they still trail by 1. Adams with a shot through traffic. Loose in front of Gergen, who makes the save and holds on. Just kind of feel that the Edina offensive train picking up its steam a little bit here in the last 8 minutes of the game. Face-off controlled by Eden Prairie. Worked its way around to the near side. Swaim at the red line. The puck was loose for a moment, now controlled by Eden Prairie. Taken away at the red line once again by Eden Prairie. It's sent back in by the Hornets, deep into the Eagles zone. 7:20 to go in regulation. 2-1, Eagles with the lead. That's Jane Keel battling down into that corner, working their way around the Eagle net. Working their way into the middle to Swaim, who didn't get a lot on the shot, and Gergen able to make the save with the glove and hold on. Exactly 7 minutes to play in regulation. The Eagles leading at 2-1. First period power play goal by Carrie Burns. A second period power play goal by Grace Kuipers. They put the Eagles up 2-0. The face-off pushed down into the near side corner. And back into the neutral zone, and with speed, here's Burns into the offensive zone. Burns with the backhander as she had to work her way around U-line. A great effort by Burns to get a good shot attempt off, even with the defender draped all over her. As Keel possessing it behind her own net, having some trouble getting it out. As here's Davis into the offensive zone. Davis slowing things up, trying to center it. They played back to the point in front of the Eagle bench. So down to the near side. Jungles with a long shot through traffic. She scores! Vivian Jungles with a long shot from the circle, and this game is tied. So John and I talked about that the Hornets have been here before. Trailed 2-0 coming into the period, and they have tied it up with 6:15 to go. The Eagles control off the face-off. The Eagles dump this one down deep into the Edina zone. Maxwell will play it around for the Hornets. Eagles able to hold it in. The centering feed knocked down. Second goal of the game for Vivian Jungles. 2 goals in this period has tied this one up at 2 as we're under 6 minutes to go in regulation. As CC Bowlby driving toward the net, lost control of the puck. Uline and Bowlby getting credit for the assists. Not sure which Bowlby, but it was CC who was on the ice at the time. We have a penalty against Eden Prairie. That'll put Edina on the power play. That'll be Presley Pergan taking the trip to the bin. Edina having just tied the game. Now we'll go on a power play to try to take the lead. Checking the call. The Eagles get an early clear. Uline behind her own net. Uline getting it up. It ends up with Vivian Jungles on the near side. Can she make it a third period hat trick? As Keel will slow things down. Back to Uline toward the blue line as Bowlby near the near side circle lets the puck go by her. As Bowlby works her way in. Bowlby with a shot. Six! She scores! CC Bowlby with a power play goal. What a move! There was no initial save. This kind of caught me off guard a little bit. And just like that, Edina had scored 3 times in the final frame, and they lead it 3-2 with 5 minutes exactly to play. The Eagles dump it down into the offensive zone, trying to center it, and it's knocked away in front of the goaltender. As Hendrickson battling on the inboards. What a period for the Hornets, who came in trailing 2-0. Had struggled all afternoon to get anything past Molly Gergen, and they've done it 3 times in the final frame, and they lead it 3-2. We mentioned in the pregame, Bowlby, one of the semifinalists for the Ms. Hockey. There's a shot. Strittmatter makes the save on the drive by Niss. There's Bowlby with that brilliant power play goal. As the Eagles start to push a little bit as we're about to pass the 13-minute mark of the final period. Langseth comes out of the corner with the puck. Centering feeds. It might have gotten the post. And Burns on the back door. It was set up perfectly, but Burns just couldn't find the back of the net. 3:48 to go now in regulation. 3-2, Edina with the lead. Back out in the neutral zone. Uline has the puck taken away from her. Langseth. Center it for Burns. They score! Grace Kuiper on the follow-up, and this game is tied again. As Langseth and Burns weren't able to connect on the first attempt, but Kuiper's there to follow up. And you can just feel all that energy sucked out of this arena as Eden Prairie comes back and ties it up. 3.5 minutes to play. Now tied up at 3. The face-off sent back into the Edina zone. Langseth gets the only assist on that goal. The Eden Prairie drives it into the offensive zone. There's Nist with a shot that's blocked by Maxwell. Nobody quite sure where the puck was for a moment as Nist comes out with it. Nist goes down behind the net with Dahl. As they come out, and then on the back door, that one just out of the reach of Townsend. Eden Prairie, though, maintains the offensive zone. Yes, Burns gets it back to the point, and a long shot sent wide. As Lucy Bowlby gets tied up, Eden Prairie again able to hold the zone, although now Annie Keel ends up with it for the Hornets. About to go under 2.5 minutes to play in regulation. 3-3 tie game. As it comes to Bowlby. Bowlby gives it up to Chorsky. Chorsky, though, with that puck poked away from her. It's sent back into the neutral zone. As Adams, as Kuipers work her way around. It's sent back the other direction. It's Chorsky. Chorsky as we go under 2 minutes to play as we pass the 15-minute mark. The Eden Prairie player is going hard into the boards. It's Adams. Lays it back into the corner. Eden Prairie not quite able to clear. Adams able to hold. That's a shot that's blocked. It gets up ahead for Burns. Burns throws this one at Strittmatter. Will thought about covering it up, decided against it. Will play on as it's intercepted. Driven back into the zone by Ava Wagner. Niss will end up with it for Eden Prairie. Niss will play it back behind her. It'll come back down into the corner. As Wagner gets tied up, there's a long shot. That'll go wide. It'll work its way all the way back into the neutral zone. As Eden Prairie sets up, about to go under a minute to play. Driving her way into the middle and then getting knocked off the puck was Claire Kuipers as it comes back around to the far side boards. It's coming in offside are the Hornets, and we'll have a neutral zone face-off. 54.4 seconds to play, and in Edina, with this momentum seizing third period, scored 3 straight goals to take the lead. The last one, the dramatic power play goal by C.C. Bowlby. And then watch as Grace Kuipers comes right back for Eden Prairie to tie the game. As it's sent back into the Eden Prairie zone, 45 seconds to go in regulation. 3-3 tie game. The Hornets send it back the other direction. Langseth in front of her own bench will play it up. Uline possessing it for the Eagles in her own, or Hornets rather, in her own zone. The Eagles would have come in offside, so they had to slow things up as they play it around the Hornet net. 20 seconds to go in regulation. As Vivian Jungles, who has 2 goals in the third period, got tied up, and the Eagles able to hold the zone. 10 seconds to go in regulation. Here's Annie Keel behind her own net. It'll work its way all the way, and there's going to be an icing call, so Eden Prairie going to get one more chance, perhaps. A quick shot off the face-off. 2.3 seconds to go in regulation. See, Edina leaving a little bit of a space between, and now they do get that wall formed, face-off loose in the circle, driven to the corner, and that'll bring us to the end of regulation. A wild third period that saw 3 Edina goals. But unfortunately for the Hornets, the last goal of the period went the way of the Eagles. They were able to tie it up with 3.5 minutes to play in the final frame, and we'll go to overtime. We're going to take about a 2-minute break and come back with the puck drop for overtime. You're watching Edina girls hockey. Welcome back inside Braemar Arena as we get set for the overtime session. 3-3 our score. Edina looking like they were going to pull this one out in that third period after the power play goal by C.C. Bowlby capped off 3 unanswered goals by the Hornets to give them a 3-2 lead. But the Eagles struck back one more time. Grace Kuipers, her second goal of the game, tying it up at 3, and that's where we stand as the overtime begins with play behind the Edina net. Working her way out front, it's loose next to Strittmatter, who's able to find it with the glove, and will have an offensive zone face-off for the Eagles. With 7:37 to go in the overtime frame. Mr. John Sands back in the house from his little equipment run. The Eagles, I think, figuring out who they want to take this face-off. It will be Langseth. Off the face-off, sent out into the neutral zone. Trying to race to catch up to it is Spanier. Spanier, though, couldn't quite send it the other direction, and Edina will gain the offensive zone. Here's Bowlby. Bowlby working away, and Bowlby with a high shot over the net, up into the netting. Well, the Ms. Hockey semifinalist trying to end it there, but just a little bit too much air on that shot, and we'll have a face-off coming in the neutral zone. 7:22 to go now in overtime. Eden Prairie led 1-0 after 1, 2-0 after 2. Edina with those 3 unanswered goals in the third period. Give them a 3-2 lead at the time. Long shot from the point, that'll go wide. Spanier will end up with it for Eden Prairie. She'll get it out into the neutral zone. Ahead for Townsend. Townsend gets headed off, though, and it's sent back the other direction into the neutral zone. Where Claire Kuipers banks it off the near side boards. Now it's pushed back into the Edina offensive zone where the Eagles able to quickly clear it out. Into the offensive zone for the Hornets is Davis. Davis, whose name we haven't called a lot this evening. And Nis for Eden Prairie. She'll get this one up ahead toward Townsend. Townsend, though, couldn't catch up to it first. It comes back around to the end boards. The Hornets trying to send it the other direction. 6.5 minutes to go in overtime. There's Dahl with it on the far side. The corner as it comes loose in the circle, and Annie Keel ends up with it. Keel working her way into the neutral zone. Annie Keel. She gets headed off, though, by Claire Kuipers and had to reverse direction. As a soft shot into the glove and unable to quite snag it was Gergen, and will play on. Langseth able to get it out into the neutral zone. Sent back into the Hornet offensive zone. As Kuipers. She's harassed by Adams as Kuipers not quite able to clear the zone. Bowlby holds it in. Now it is sent back out into the neutral zone. Adams has it for Edina. 5:44 to go in overtime. Gets it to Chorsky. Chorsky trying to steam her way into the offensive zone. She works her way to the middle. There was Tella Jungles, my apologies. Chorsky is down there as well. There's a long shot this time held onto with the glove by Gergens. 5:27 to go in overtime. Offensive zone face-off for the Hornets coming. Be to the right of Gergens. Loose in the circle that comes out to Chorsky. Chorsky turnaround shot as Gergens reaches out with the stick. That one would have gone wide anyway. The centering feed for Chorsky is poked away. Chorsky, though, will catch up to it first ahead of Spanier. Chorsky circling her way in, trying to feed Tella Jungles. It's loose out front and redirected wide as Bowlby couldn't quite catch up to it. Bowlby, though, maintains possession. Uline will play one off the back of wall. Chorsky, centering feed. They score! C.C. Bowlby with her second of the game, and Edina wins it in overtime, 4-3. It was Bowlby who had the power play goal that gave Edina their first lead, and she ends it in overtime A thrilling third period, a thrilling overtime, and Edina comes back from a 2-0 deficit, and they win it in overtime. Now stay tuned here on mnhockey.tv. We've got another exciting matchup in the Lake Conference on the boys' side featuring Wayzata against Edina. That'll be coming up, I'm guessing about 20-25 minutes. With this game going to overtime, we'll push that start time back quite a bit, but Edina knocks off their conference rival, the Eden Prairie Eagles, in overtime. C.C. Bowlby's second goal of the game puts the Hornets over the top, and they beat the Eden Prairie Eagles this afternoon. A final score once again in overtime, Edina 4 and Eden Prairie 3. For John and the rest of our crew, this has been Patrick. Stay tuned, everybody. We've got more action here on mnhockey.tv coming up this evening.